breaks.
Yeah!
Mahogany.
She's not here.
Oh.
Did she leave because I said I was
me. What is going on?
Oh, there
you are.
Said I also require things from the kitchen.
Oh. Jeff. Subpar. Yep. Terrence.
Y'all!
Yeah, no, you sounded the best.
Oh. Damn.
How did my microphone pick me up from the kitchen?
Loud and annoying.
Hey. Usual.
It was like having Kevin in a little can across the room.
Kevin in a can. When you're stranded on a desert island and you see a cruise ship 30 miles out, Kevin in a can.
Just pop that top.
No.
I don't think you're allowed to give Kevin shit today, Terrence, because you threw a party at his house and then you didn't come to it.
You know what? You're right. When you're right, you're right. But also, fuck you. That on recording. You have to make me look like a total bastard.
It wasn't your fault that you didn't make it to the. Well, it was kind of your fault, but it wasn't totally. It was 100% your fault that you didn't make it to the party.
So y'all did have the party?
No.
I would say it's 75% his fault. Because when your brake started squealing, that's when you should have been like, these might give out on me in this rolling dead box. Maybe I should take these.
Let's record this part so that Terrence has a timestamp of one of the most terrifying events in recent memory. Your brakes went out as you went through a traffic stop.
Yeah, I'm good. We can stop talking about it if it's all right.
Was that scarier than when the lesbian tried to fight you at the bar I used to work at?
Well, that wasn't scary at all. That was a drunk lesbian that missed when she tried to hit me.
All right, so now we've got a scale of Terrence.
Technically, that was assault. She did assault you. She just did not and battery you.
She went wild on the battery. It never happened.
Yeah.
The real battery was her gross flip-flops. Let's
boy, oh boy, oh boy. So yeah, I re-listened to our last recording, and I have the sneaking suspicion I was drunk through most of the session. I sound a little blurry, and for that, I apologize for not providing optimal audio quality to the listeners.
You were just talking in cursive.
But I feel like I held it together pretty well for somebody so wasted. Yep. Patting myself on the back. Fuck you.
I'm praising my own alcoholism.
It's not alcoholism. If you only drink once a week.
You're right. That was the wrong word choice.
Yeah. It's binge drinking.
Alcohol tolerance.
Binge drinking sounds bad, but technically you could go a year without drinking, and then you drink 4 beers at a party. Now you're binge drinking.
Yep.
You could also just skip dinner and just drink, saving money, getting drunker, and that's a binge drink.
That's basically what happened last Sunday, actually. I had like a breakfast sandwich that morning, and then by the time it rolled around to do this, I was too late to cook supper. So I just poured myself a drink and said, I'll cook afterwards. And I did.
Tell me more about this breakfast sandwich.
It was bread and eggs.
That's an egg sandwich.
I had it at breakfast, so
Technically, any sandwich can be a breakfast sandwich.
It also had ham and cheese on it. The egg was just an extra bonus, I'm dressing it up. I'm gourmeting it.
If I hadn't have finished my giant Jersey Mike sandwich tonight and had a quarter of it tomorrow morning, would that make my Jersey Mike sandwich a breakfast sandwich?
Yes.
It would be, yes.
If it is the first thing that you break your fast with, your overnight fast.
All right, now you're getting technical. I don't like that.
I'm sorry. You've met me. You've known me for years. That's what I do.
So then it's impossible to have breakfast for dinner.
Technically,
with your logic.
No.
Because from lunchtime to dinner is still a fast.
So every meal is a breakfast to you?
Yes. Unless you spend your entire day eating food, there is a period of time where you are not eating.
Gotcha, bitch.
Like,
I have one junior mint every 5 minutes.
As soon as the food in my mouth dissolves, I add more food.
That was fun.
I started to not like that conversation, but at the end, it was one of my favorites.
Yeah, you really turned it around on us.
I did. That was not. Oh, I did that.
Don't break your fucking arm patting yourself.
I love me. Okay.
Yeah, he's been laughing at his own jokes since before we started.
I have. I'm funny. I'm good at this.
That's normally my gig, really.
I mean, you are funny. You make me laugh. Usually with your self-aggrandizement, Terrence, and sometimes Toker.
I'm not self-aggrandizing. What the fuck are you talking about?
I don't even know what that means.
When you do, it's
I'm humble as shit, you turd. God.
I'm used to Toker's self-aggrandizement. It's when you do it that it really makes me jiggle. Jiggle? Giggle.
Well, one does come with another.
One precedes the other.
Oh.
Excuse me, I have to go to the bathroom and jiggle.
I made a smoke wing special today, and I took it out to the front of the house for everybody to try it. And I came back out and I was like, "Did everybody try it?" And they all said yes. And then I didn't leave. And they're like, "What else?" I was like, "I want compliments. I came out here for fucking compliments. Tell me it was good, or I'm
Give me a
going
review
home."
at least.
You're not even fishing for them. You're dynamite fishing for
It's
compliments.
What was that?
I said you're dynamite fishing for compliments. Now, speaking of food, how irritating is it when you buy a bag of crunchy Cheetos and then you get home and you find out, this is a party size bag now, that it was slightly open at the top.
oh no.
Who knows for how long?
Oh no.
And those
Cheat one?
Cheetos are not crunchy.
Oh,
Yeah, I ate a bunch. You think I'm not going to eat food that I paid money for?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
You didn't like
Jesus Christ!
Why
didn't even
like this?
you didn't even throw it like a cookie sheet and put it in the oven to just sort of crisp it up or anything. You just took the humidified soggy Cheeto.
I didn't even think about that.
I
That's
didn't either.
a great
That's
idea.
a really good idea. Yeah.
Oh,
Terrence has bought food at questionable grocery stores and has learned to fix it. Teach us your ways.
Problem solved.
No, I've just lost all my my chip bag clips. A thing that is literally any kind of clip, but if you clip chip bags with it, then it's a chip bag clip. Never mind. Fuck it. I don't want to talk about that anymore. I want to talk about the game we're in. Are you guys ready to play the game we're doing?
Yeah, it's a nice
What is that
transition.
game?
That game. Hold on. Let me get my notes.
I was real drunk last time.
It's Raiders of the Lark. Raiders of the Lark. Ugh. Got some residual drunkenness, apparently. Raiders of the Lark presents World's Most Available Heroes, a Mutants and Masterminds 3rd edition campaign. This is session 21. Sorry, I'm taking a swig of non-alcohol. You don't buy that at all, do you?
No.
All right.
It's in a glass with ice. I'm assuming if you're holding it, there's booze in it.
Especially after you worked a 24-hour shift the day before. Yeah, you're drinking.
Well, technically, they call it a 24-hour shift like it's a day, like it's one day. But like, if I'm there on Saturday and I'm still there at 7 a.m. on Sunday morning, that's 2 days of fucking work.
Yeah.
But back to the superhero stuff. When last we left off, the group was gathering themselves together in order to take a little bit of a journey After a brief existential crisis on behalf of Cosmic Knight and the touch and go nature of maintaining life support on Cyber Squatch, the group has regathered together back at the mansion. We left off as the party was stepping through a portal into the world of the fairies. A wind blows across your faces. It feels cool, and you can smell like the smells of autumn. You can smell cinnamon. You can smell apples, pumpkin spice. You can smell loamy fields and the first frosts. It's all there in the air. And as Prince Grek walks out into the portal behind you, he lets out a scoff, a kind of laugh. Ha! 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 I knew it. He walks to the front of your group and says, "Look at this. I knew this. I knew I had a workaround. I'm no fool. I'm a master at what I do. I've been studying magic my entire life. The rules don't apply to me. I brought myself and you right here to my grandfather's kingdom, and there was no backtracking or substituting or having to go through Yggdrasil or anything like that. Though, if you did want to go to Yggdrasil," he points over to a very large oak tree you can see, which is just like maybe thick as a corn silo around the base. There's a stairway right over there, but otherwise, we don't have to do anything. We can just go to my grandfather's court, and then through proper channels, we won't have to fight our way through the winter court. It's going to be a cakewalk.
Famous last words.
When he finishes his say that, the skies overhead darken, and you see Prince Grek look up, and you can see the clouds themselves are shaping it into. It looks like the figurehead of a crow or a raven. The head slowly angles its way. The lightning pinpricks that are its eyes are regarding you, the group, and him in particular, and a voice booms down like thunder. "You strain at your leash, bound one." Prince Greg doffs his cap, his witch hat, briefly says, "No, I was merely showing them a vision. This is a vision, right? We're on a dream quest." And then you see Prince Grek be lifted into the air, his legs shaking, and he is fired unceremoniously out of the portal you came into, and it slams shut behind you. The raven in the sky dissipates, and you see the leaves on all the trees begin to fall in earnest, entirely off. And as they hit the ground, it begins to snow around you.
Question: if Prince Grek is no longer attached to Cyber Squatch,
Prince Grek was never attached to Cyber Squatch.
He was operating as my magical life force, though.
No, Billy is operating as your mechanical life force.
Oh, that's right. It was Billy. I thought Prince Grek was doing that. Okay, yeah.
So yes, he disappears back into the mortal realm, and the portal slams shuts behind him. The world gets cold, and you see icicles begin quickly forming on the trees around you as snow rapidly begins to pile. What are you guys doing?
Am I conscious for any of this?
No.
Okay. Back to mute.
Make for the castle.
Yeah.
Suppose I'll carry the heavy Sasquatch.
No. This heavy Sasquatch is walking on its own because Billy is doing the puppeteering.
Oh, that's right. Yep. Brain fart. Yeah, to the castle.
The castle. Just to recap, Prince Greg said, pointed you a path toward getting to the Yggdrasil, but if you're going to see the King of Winter, that's where the castle you're talking about would be. And it is visible, incidentally, from any vantage point. You can see it towering in the sky from the top of a mountain in the distance. an icy spike.
So, is there a way? Do we know how to get to the realm of the fall?
You were there briefly and then kicked out.
So we're not in the same realm.
No, you've been shunted to where the magic has deemed appropriate. It is January in the Appalachia, and all the Fey portals lead to the appropriate season. Prince Grack was trying to cheat.
So, doing some research. So we're at the mansion again.
No, you're still there in the Fey realms.
Prince Grack got punted back to the mortal realm.
Correct.
We got kept in the winter court, which sucks because that's a full year away from where I need to be, which is the spring or summer court.
No, fall court.
No.
That fall is autumn, or autumn court is Prince Grack's grandfather, who we were going to make a deal, basically, to get me to the spring court. But
Where does night court fall in all of this?
every night.
11 p.m.
Saturdays at 9, CBS. No.
1980s?
Well, syndication, so it lasts beyond that.
No, okay, TV land. MeTV, that's where it's at right now.
So which court were we really trying to get to?
Grack was trying to take you to his grandfather, but that did not work. Whatever has bound him to the mortal realm, the contract that he has with Bubblegum, has shut him out of the Fey realm.
And where's his grandfather at?
The Autumn Court,
Okay.
a place you are not.
So is there a way to go to Yggdrasil?
God, now you got me doing it.
Yggdrasil.
Yggdrasil, thank you. Yggdrasil.
The G's are silent.
Yeah. Yggdrasil, as Gret quickly pointed out to you before he was shunted away, if you're looking to actually make contact with it, that huge oak over there has a passage to it, but he said it wouldn't be necessary before he was kicked out, and it suddenly became necessary.
But if we go to Yggdrasil, then we could actually go to the fall court instead of come here, right?
We could probably get to the spring court through Yggdrasil, right?
Probably, yes.
Yeah, but were we trying to get to spring court?
Well, you know from talking with your other mystical colleagues, that is Grack and I guess Sorcerina at this point, that yes, Cyber Squatch is a creature of the spring court.
But we were going to the fall court. That's why I keep getting confused here.
Yeah, where are we going?
That's what I'm trying to figure out, because right now we're
where you're going is where you're going. I'm asking you where you're going. You're in a Fey realm. There are two other Fey realms one that you have contact with, and one that is the origin of Cyber Squatch. Only the summer court is something you guys have no actual mess with right now.
Well,
So
you
you can
also know from conversations with Cyber Squatch in the past that I have been shunned from my people in the spring court. So we may have to go through the fall court to gain admittance. I don't know if that's actually the case, and I can't give you any input because I'm fucking not. There's no there with Cyber Squatch right now.
Yeah, but you as the player.
That's why I'm saying this. I'm jogging y'all's memory that he has talked to y'all about being shunned by his people in the spring court.
Okay.
As to whether Terrence took that to mean we have to go through the autumn court to get me an admittance with the Spring King, I don't know.
Well, this is just from my understanding. From the explanation that we got last time was we need to go to the fall court. The fall court would be the one that would actually try to do something.
You're probably right. I think that is what Terrence said last time.
Well, that is not what Terrence said. That is what Grack said.
Which is the only input into Terrence's brain.
Right.
So yeah, Terrence said we have to go to the fall court. The information that we have as players is
The only contact we have right now is the fall court.
yes. I would probably get thrown back into the mortal realm if we tried to approach the Spring Queen and King. They'd be like, nope, get that
On
piece
the
of
winter.
right here.
So let's go to. He showed us where the portal was to Yggdrasil. What knowledge kind of check would I have to? Can I figure out how to get from? Is there a way to get from the winter court here to the fall court without
Yes.
going through Yggdrasil?
Imagine the seasonal realms as a circle. That's not true, and it doesn't really reflect the reality of the mystical situation. But yes, it's also true, and it reflects the reality of the situation. If you travel one direction far enough, you will eventually reach the spring court. And if you travel the other way far enough, you will eventually reach the autumn court. And what those ways are subjective here in a very subjective metaphysical land. You know only a little bit about it, but you do know that a place like this is largely driven by intent.
Okay, well, then my suggestion is let's head west, because west would seem to be towards fall, and east would be towards spring, in my way of thinking.
All right.
You see fall and spring being opposites on the compass.
Right.
You choose a direction that looks like west. It's difficult to tell because it's just difficult to tell. But you know, there are signs, lichen growing on certain sides of trees, the way the wind is blowing. Sometimes it'll feel warmer coming from one direction and not the other. Here in the court of winter, this vast fey realm, they begin to trudge through the snow to the west, quote unquote. And you can understand that the world around you is not as it really seems. Like, and I know that seems like a really obvious thing to say in the fey realms, but like the place feels like a sort of a sleeping animal. The land itself seems to growl and snore under your feet imperceptibly. As you move through, you see all sorts of strange sights. Here, things in the realm of winter are conflicted. There is a civil war going on, and it's one of, let's call it, tone. You trudge through endless icy fields for hours until you come across what appears to be just a charming little alpine village where, when they see you coming, the little elfin people that live here in their red and white stockings and their pointy red hats and their green cloaks and things immediately disappear into their tiny pointy-roofed dwellings. There are street signs here that are perched atop large candy canes, and as you're marching through, you can see little twinkling eyes looking out of shutters as you move through. And as soon as you get out of that, the gentle snows of the village immediately give way to rip-roaring blizzard as you march. And you can see in the distance lumbering figures crashing through dense pine forests, massive giants of ice. And the next thing you know, the snow has stopped, and you are just in just a place where an ice storm has struck. There are nothing but glittering ice fields, basically shellacking over everything that was there. Full trees, old carts, houses. They just seem to be covered in a dense, crystal clear shell of ice. And you can see steam rising up out of places where water and like moisture were, like fields where there were like piles of manure that had been shellacked over with ice are cracking and giving off heat. And as you move through this territory one after another, you get the impression that you might be traveling for way longer than you intend. And then finally, you hear the sounds of bells, sleigh bells, let's just call them.
Are you listening?
Yeah, I hope so. Because out of the driving snow of the environment that you find yourself in, you see first dimly and then sharply a quartet of massive horses pulling a sleigh through the winter court's frigid lands. The sleigh is both black and crystal blue in places. It is basically set up like a carriage with skis at the bottom, What do you call it?
Sleds.
Yes, yeah, it's basically a sled, but like it's set up as like a carriage, or a covered carriage. The huge horses come to a stop in front of you as the snow-covered driver pulls their reins back. They let out a complaint, and you see their eyes are glowing crystalline blue. Their mouths occasionally dribble off slush, as do their flanks. The coachman climbs down the tall, imposing sled. That's the word I'm looking for. And begins to amble his way over. You can see that the figure has chalky white skin, and while there is a scarf covering most of his face and the hood, you can see that he has eyes similar to the horses himself, and his voice crackles like ice cracking on a lake. You have been noticed, intruders.
Just passing through.
I am here to take you into custody for the Winter King. Please do not resist this arrest.
Was that the GM pleading for us to not get into a mathematically technical combat?
Oh, I don't care what you do.
I mean, we don't want the Winter Court to get us, right?
We might be able to negotiate a deal to get to the Fall Court.
We? Who's we? Anyway.
They?
Yeah.
The party?
Well, I'll let you guys think about that for a moment. The last thing you hear, whispered over your back as you guys are facing down the strange creature asking you to submit to arrest, is Billy's small voice. Do you guys hear that? It sounds like train tracks. Cyber Squatch, you've boarded the train. It pulled up shortly after the last person you saw left, the strange scientist that mutilated your body and had been taken on an express train to hell, presumably. The next one that came up is an old, slow engine, and you can see that it has a warmth to it that nothing else here in this desolate land has. The lights inside, as you step in, glow warmly. There is a feel of like afternoon wind, like a late spring kind of atmosphere. Slightly balmy, slightly warm, but utterly comfortable.
It's like a nice day with a crisp breeze blowing through.
Yeah. And on this train, which there aren't many occupants, a lot of them seem to be simple people dressed in humble clothing. A few people sitting at tables, and you can see down one way what appears to be a dining car, and then people sitting in their seats waiting for their final destinations down the other direction. A fellow who is dressed like a conductor, only with sort of a forest green and gold motif. Ticket, sir.
I have a ticket, right? Because I spent acorns on it.
Yes, you do.
Okay.
Can we hear this train?
No, that was just something that Billy seems to be register.
Because he is connected to my body, which is the only tether to my soul. I will proffer my ticket. Hello there.
The slender conductor takes the ticket and says, well, this is unusual. We don't really get changeovers, but I guess your destination is your unique destination, as are all. Have a seat, warm yourself with a mug of tea.
It feels very nice in here. It reminds me of a memory that I have forgotten.
Oh, yes. Are you looking to keeping memories, sir?
I'm looking to recover memories. I have lost most of mine.
Then don't drink the tea. In fact, I'd probably stay. I'd be fasting on this trip if I were you.
I appreciate the information.
That's what we're here for. We're guiding people to their final rewards or their ongoing journeys. And he ushers you to a seat. You sit down, and an old woman sits down next to you across the aisle. She looks at you as, oh my,
Hello there.
I know you.
Do you?
Oh yes. You're one of them, forest people.
Oh, forest people.
Oh yes, I used to see you all the time when I was a girl. Now, my mom used to call me crazy and everything, but we'd have the most wonderful time. I'd play with some of the youngsters, your people. No one believed me, no one at all. But you know what? I didn't like talking about it anyway. It was my secret, my special experience.
The fact that you were approached makes me feel that you were indeed special. Most of my people tended to shy away from your people.
Did they? Huh.
Yes, I have vague recollections of taking pains to remain hidden.
Oh, well, that's tragic. You're such a handsome, forest person.
Well, thank you.
You see the cart go by and someone deliver her a plate with the tea and sit it down on the tray in front of her. And there's some they deliver her some fresh vegetables and some nuts, and she begins to crack a few open. Says, it's been a wonderful experience overall. I've had a good life, and there were hardships and there were things like that, but nothing really worth hanging on to.
And this woman does appear to be human.
Yes, mostly. You see that, as you talk to her, her features begin to elongate. Like her face becomes more muzzle-like as she begins eating the snack provided to her.
Kind of lupine or vulpine?
I don't know, whatever deer are.
I also don't know.
I don't know.
Faunine?
They are fauna, yeah.
Yeah, they're definitely fauna.
It's subtle at first, but the more she talks, the more she waxes poetic about how much she enjoyed life and how much she loved living in nature and all the things that happened to her. And she would occasionally reference things that she thought might be just too unsavory for polite conversation. And then the next thing you know, she's not an old woman anymore, but she is just a sort of a human deer hybrid wearing a fluffy sweater.
Okay, so she wasn't a straight up deer soul. She was a deer person, some sort of fae creature?
No, it looks like she is currently in the process of being reincarnated.
Okay. I will continue the conversation as long as the conversation can continue, and if she remains cogent,
she remains talkative for a little while, and then after a while, she stops using her hands to sip the tea, and she reaches her muzzle down and finishes it off, and she turns to you, and you see the deer do something you've never seen an animal like this do before, except maybe Adam, winks at you, and then the next thing you know, you're just looking at hollow old lady clothes and an empty seat. The conductor comes around and says, "It happens fast for some of them."
You were ready to depart and re-enter the cycle.
Oh, yes.
I feel blessed to have seen such.
Well, I'm afraid you won't be able to see it happen to you because it doesn't feel like you've been here a long time, but you see that the whole landscape outside the train has changed to rolling green hills.
And thank you, Jeff. I will remember Servine in the future.
Oh, thank you. I will try to remember that too.
Nice little tidbit of information.
Rolling green hills and lush forests. He says, this looks like your changeover. And you don't feel like it happened took very long at all. The train comes to a stop at another station. This station is, even if any possible, more rustic than the one you started in, but more well-maintained as you are let out on the platform. And you see a figure that is both familiar and kind of horrible to you. It is you. Let's go back to the Winter Court. All right, did y'all decide what you're going to do?
Nope. I was dedicating myself to listen to your wonderful story.
Yeah, exactly.
I pride myself on being able to bring words to visualize pictures. I know you were talking to Terrence. I'm just
No, that's fine. They're probably
Feet.
talking to you. You're much better at that than me. You should be running this game, and I should be napping.
I was
But yeah.
I was distracted by the when you were talking about the lady and the deer. I was thinking of what was the deer lady from that it's like a Native American. It's a Native American reservation dogs. It's like a Native American like superstition. The deer lady.
Oh, I hadn't seen it.
Yeah, I thought that's maybe where you were going. Then I remembered that that's Taika Waititi, and you don't like any of his stuff, even the good dramatic stuff. And yeah, I did not decide if I should punch this Winter Fey dude in the face or not. I'm kind of waiting for for the face to take the lead on what we do there. Jeff,
He clarified.
When you said face, I was looking at Princess Bubblegum.
that's my dealer now.
She got the good mushrooms. I can offer some input, even though my character's not there.
No,
Okay.
Let's just go.
like be arrested and taken to the Winter Court.
Yeah, why the hell not?
Okay.
All right. He ushers you towards the carriage, and there's a lot of room inside. There's naturally more room than you'd think, because there are 4 guards in there, and they are huge creatures covered in white hair, very similar to Cyber Squatch in size and build, but much more grim. They wear black and silver armor.
Abominable?
Oh yes, they are very abominable.
Silver and gold?
No, there's a Yukon Cornelius's head is stuffed on one of the walls.
Is that the guy who sings that song's real name?
Huh? No, the
Silver and gold. Because that's what I thought was the abominable snowman from the
no.
animation.
That's I don't know that the Stone man's name in that is, but on Rudolph is, but that's
Yukon
Burl Ives singing it.
Mm.
But Yukon Cornelius is the guy who
Fights the snow monster.
Yeah, he was the hunter.
Ah. Okay. Our brains went different places. It's okay.
All right, cool. I'm glad we all are not on the same page.
The more pages make a longer book.
Yeah, well, this is like a slam notebook that they pass around a middle school. At any rate, as you are ushered into the carriage, and you can see the 4 guards sitting in every corner of the carriage's seats. They pat the seats next to them and say, "Sit down." And when they see Cyber Squatch and Billy come in, their weapons come out. What is this thing?
It's who we're here to help.
Help? One of them spits, and another one gives out a mocking laugh. You help a corpse.
I've helped worse.
We come to purify him.
They look at each other skeptically, not really knowing what to say to that. But the one in one of the corners stands up and like moves away from where Billy sits Cyber Squatch's body down, as if not even wanting to be near it. And then with a whip crack, you can hear the huge horses begin barreling through the snow in a very smooth ride. One of the Yetis turns and looks and says, "How did you get here, mortal?"
Through a portal.
There are
That a young prince opened up for us.
Prince. There are no princes of this realm.
All court.
All court, of course. Troublesome. Another one says, meddlers. Another one says, filth.
Like a whole bunch of Yetis.
They begin talking to them amongst each other in their own private Yeti language. And once they stop and in what sounds like an agreement, and they say, "You
Good
only
question,
agree."
Terrence.
Yeah.
Well, before you keep going, I have a special universal translator that lets me understand. Let me read the thing to you specifically. So,
All right.
because it might let me understand them. Oh, let's see. Wrong one. Get out of that one. It's my universal translator. That's down here. And that is in the his body. Okay.
Him searching for this is in character.
Yeah.
How far did they get into that conversation before he found his universal translator?
You can understand the language of any intelligent creature.
Okay.
Oh.
Then what they're talking about with each other, I'm not going to do the whole conversation,
That's fine.
is which one of them gets the honor of executing the corrupted one. Two of them claim they don't want to sully their weapons with its blood. The other two say it would be a very big feather in their cap if they were to take on this dirty job. This creature's blood must be burned. Its flesh must be flensed. It must be fed to the vilest worms, which must in turn be fed to the even more vile worms.
So maybe I undersold how much I was shunned.
After hearing that, I will actually send a typed message to all my companions over their HUDs,
Okay.
pretty much giving a synopsis of what's being said.
All right.
Then trying to think of my lore, and I'll roll any check that you want me to roll. What would be the proper challenge to challenge like a knight? Thinking of this as like winter court, thinking of it like royalty, any kind of realm. Is there a way to propose a challenge to allow us to maybe proceed to the fall court or give us some way?
Let's see. Well, fey creatures are notoriously willing to take risks, make gambles, and of course cheat to win. But as far as like what you gathered from your brief conversations with Grack about it, is that the title of Winter King is the most contested one. It has changed hands numerous times over the many thousands of years. The current Winter King is the newest. A strange creature that is in parts generous and in parts terrifying. A creature that is born of human myth, a new fae arisen fairly recently, but given massive amounts of power. And they call him Sandy Claus. No, okay.
Boo. Boo the Santa Claus.
Yeah, we're already past Christmas. We need the New Year King.
They tell you that, or what you know is that the Winter King basically serves as all the seasonal Fey Lords serve as avatars to what their season represents. And so here you're still pretty close to Christmas, so there's a chance you might find the Winter King in a generous mood, perhaps willing to engage in a game or a bit of sport, combat, or put a champion up against you. You went through a similar ritual like this with the Autumn King.
Right.
So there's a good chance it could work.
I am going to wander out loud in a whimsical thought process and just make it sound like, I wonder if the Winter King would be interested in a little game.
Game?
Your thought stops the Yetis from giving their grunting language at each other cold. And they all turn and look at you. And one of them says in a very low voice, "It's not wise to challenge one of the seasonal kings, even in jest, even at a distance. They are always listening."
Well, being that is close to the Yuletide, I feel that this would be a good time to maybe beg his forgiveness of our entrance into his kingdom, but maybe he would be willing to give us a chance to show our appreciation of us being allowed here.
They look at each other and one of them grunts, "Well, he hasn't said anything formally. I'd just keep it to ourselves." One of them says, "Yeah, we don't want this kind of trouble." The other one says, "No, the Winter King will probably not interact with you. You will be tossed into the dungeons and likely executed after a brief court.
Well, I appreciate y'all's concern, but what would happen if you did something that the Winter King did not appreciate? That you deprived him of an experience that he was been interested in?
They look at each other once more and go, as long as he doesn't know, there's nothing to be deprived of. Now,
I will take that recording and play it in full blast as loud as I possibly can with Christmas music and Yuletide music. Using holographic presentation.
Simply having a wonderful Christmas time.
You blast this hologram, this recording, this recreation of the last few seconds at the Yeti guard, who begins to howl in rage and terror, and he basically pulls out a mace and comes up out of his seat.
I would not do that.
And then is knocked over as the carriage comes to a screeching stop. The door opens and the hooded figure at the driver's seat is waiting. We've arrived.
Why?
And you can see over his shoulder a cliff face, or rather the top of a cliff that you guys are perched on, and it just goes for miles and miles in every direction. At the top, you must be at the top of the highest mountain you've ever been on. You don't even remember feeling inclined. The Yetis get out, and you can hear them arguing with each other. We should kill him now. We should silence his mouth. We should cut off his arms and pull out his tongue. One says, the Winter King will see through this. This is trickery.
Trickery on y'all's part.
Or trickery. What were you saying? I'm sorry.
I said trickery on your part. Trying to pull a quick one on the Winter King? Oh, God, that's shameful.
As they pile out and they brandish their swords and maces at you, telling everyone, get out! And you guys are at the bottom of a massively tall, icy spike, a tower of pure dark ice, and you are marched toward it. Cyber Squatch, you, as the train pulls away, you can see a copy of yourself sitting on the bench, waiting, looking down at his ticket.
Is he Cyber Squatch or is he Sasquatch?
He looks like you do, the spiritual copy, only in reverse. You can see through his torso, through his head. He is ghostly in places where you are not. It looks up at you, and you see yourself do something that looks kind of unnatural to you as you are. Its face splits into a beaming smile. Hello again.
No. And I will smile back. Seems odd to ask this in these circumstances, but how are you now?
I was thought lost. I've been here a while, you know. Last thing I remember, we were on the hunt. We had been blessed, gifted to lead the wild hunt.
I'll sit down next to him.
But we had been led astray by our quarry. We ended up in the reverse place, and there they took us. They had sorcerers with dark magic like I had never seen, and machines, terrible machines. He looks at you, and he shudders, as if he can still see the machines attached to you.
I'm nodding along with him. I am familiar with their machines.
They did things to me, and then I stopped being able to remember. I've been here ever since, waiting for the rest of me. Are we going home?
That is my intent. Now that the rest of me has met me, I do hope that home will allow us back.
You reach out your arm toward you and touch your own face, and then the other you disappears. And then it all comes back to you. All of it. Every last moment. You live your life from birth until now again. The long years of waiting here in this station weigh heavily on you, but briefly, and the long years of not knowing in the real world pile up again. But you know that you're just watching this. It's over. You've seen how this turns out, and you are here now at the end of a long life that has been split, mutilated, and now has come together again in soul form. You have your memories back, Cyber Squatch, and you know what happened, where, and why.
And when?
And when.
And how?
I did cover how.
When did this all go down?
This all went down in the 1960s. Or rather, the 1960s.
So the other half of my soul has been sitting there for
about
years.
About 70 years, yeah.
70 years. Yeah, that's right, 70 years.
The parts of you that they carved away to put Cyber Squatch in, to make you into Cyber Squatch, were the parts with much of your early life memories. That part of your soul, though diminished, has lingered on because you have remained half alive. And you remain so now. You look down at your whole form, and you can now see only faintly the places where the cybernetics were, but you also see something else overlaying them, a sort of a blue-white light. You feel the presence of another soul, essentially, also tying you back to your body.
Can I recognize Billy?
Yes, you do.
Go
ahead.
There is a moment where I'm just on that bench, elbows on knees, sad Keanu style, just weeping for the lost time, weeping in joy for having my name back, for having my memory, seeing my brothers and sisters in my memory, recognizing that old lady who became a deer as we watched her from a distance interact with our younglings. And then I just look up and smile as tears run down my face. Thank you, Billy, for keeping me alive.
You hear behind you, amongst the hubbub, bubblegum, as you guys are being pushed out of the cart and onto the icy slopes. You hear both Billy and Cyber Squatch's voice mutter the words "alive."
Hey.
And then Billy comes to a sense, says, something's really, oh wow, I don't know how much time we have. These things are starting to act up. I don't know how to describe it.
I'll look at him. I'll look at him with my the medical skill.
All right, you guys are being pushed along by the Yetis toward the castle gates while you're looking over him, and you can see that Billy's integration into the Cyber Squatch's metallic parts is starting to how do I put this? Go badly. It looks like the parts of Cyber Squatch that are metallic are kind of trying to bond with Billy's technological form. It looks like he's starting to, you know how you get if you have an infection, everything looks kind of red and veiny around the area.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that, but only with metal decay, I guess.
I'll separate them.
If you separate them, Cyber Squatch will die. You don't have. You know that Billy has some time, but you know you're going.
He was alive now.
You're running out.
Is there any way to build up some kind of blockage or give him some virus protection versus that kind of stuff?
Give me the medicine
Ointment?
check.
Okay.
Some sort of cream or ointment?
some sort of poultice or.
All right. 39.
A salve.
I rolled a 19.
Nice. You quickly do some formulating based on the faux biological portions of Billy, the biological portions of Cyber Squatch, and the invasive technology that now binds them both together. You begin tweaking various parts of Billy's internal defenses. Like I said, he is a very sophisticated android that is pretty good at mimicking human processes. So you basically give his immune system an upgrade. that should last a couple of days and fight off this. But after that, he'll need to be separated entirely, or he will be corrupted entirely.
Okay.
Are my natural, my regeneration and my regrowth, is that beginning to work or not yet?
It's basically a war between, like it has always been, whether you knew it or not, a war between your mystical form and the corrupt cybernetics.
It's basically the thing that kept me a living thing instead of a machine.
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay.
Cool. The four of you are five technically. 4 or 5 of you are marched down the halls of this massive spiraling tower and told to stand on a platform of ice. They tell you not to slip. It's a very long fall, and it begins to raise up, going high, high, high up the tower. There's no handholds, no nothing. It's just a slick circle of ice about 12 feet across that you're all just sort of standing huddled together on.
I'll hover just above it.
Okay. It moves swiftly up through the palace, and you can see numerous places where it could stop and let you off, but doesn't, until finally, after about what feels like 10 minutes of going steadily upward, it stops at a massive throne room and seals perfectly within the floor that it rises to. This place is schizophrenic looking. It's filled with bones and hides on the wall. It's got a sort of like an ancient hunting lodge motif, but also you can see interwoven with it is Christmas lights. The table, which has lots of like freshly slaughtered game on it that's still oozing with blood, also has things like puddings, jams, cakes, pies. And the man at the far end of the throne, if you could call him that, is a massive figure wearing thick red robes. He's got antlers coming out of like all 4 corners of his head. His beard is made of a huge frieze of icicles, and his teeth are the same color as his robes, blood red. You can see him gently nibbling a gingerbread cookie as you approach. His voice, though silky, fills the chamber. Oh, welcome to my throne room, interlopers. What have you brought for the king?
Bow down greatly.
How about the rest of you?
If there's any connection between my soul and my body, I will also bow down. You bow down to the king.
The Cyber Squatch's body automatically falls to its knees, giving Billy a jolt. Ah!
An appropriate curtsy.
How about you, Cosmic Knight?
An appropriate curtsy.
I believe an appropriate curtsy for a knight is that whole like on one knee with the sword in front kind of thing.
Yeah. I won't mimic what Bubblegum did.
Okay. The Winter King lets out another dry chuckle and dips another cookie in milk and pops it into his mouth. You come late in the season, seeking gifts. Mortals. He looks over you. Mostly mortals. You have the stink of the autumn court about you. Tell me, why do you bother me?
We seek to get our friend purified from some of the tainted technology and bring him back to his former glory.
The massive figure on the throne stands, and he stands about 13 feet, not counting antlers, which scrape against the icy ceiling of the chamber until he remembers to lower his own size to where they don't as he walks towards you. So you came to me, the only seasonal king who is now mired in the minutiae of machinery I would be insulted if I didn't think you were all so stupid.
Is there any way we can help?
Help me or him?
Both.
He turns his head for a moment to the sky, toward the walls, and you see the ice that makes up the walls sort of like wither away into a very thin sheet, so he can see out over the valley. There are things that I need that probably cannot be provided by my subjects. But the things I need on the macro scale in order to be successful as the King of Winter are not something that 3.5 mortals can do. Can you change the nature of the season? Can you empty the minds of mortal men of their pretensions of goodwill?
No.
I mean, you could kill them.
Well, mankind tends to do that anyway.
Yes. And then they lie themselves back into this again. Every year I go through a horrible transformation where I, the King of Winter, the Master of Death and War, are shunted into a terrible form of just he looks down and you see Steele has a fistful of cookies and he just throws them against the wall in what seems to be both fear and anger. Ah! Still! And it starts happening earlier every year. Every year, the change comes on me. It is only
After Halloween.
It starts during the reign of autumn now. He spins around dramatically, his massive red cape exposing his body, which appears to be a mass of red scars and tattoos.
Are they jolly tattoos?
Some of them, but mostly not. I fought for this throne for 500 years, and then, a scant 500 years later, this has happened. I am cursed for my efforts. Anyway, that's nothing that you can help me with. What you want is the turn, and he moves with incredible swiftness. He's standing behind the bowed Cyber Squatch within the blink of an eye. This pathetic thing, once proud, he lifts the head of Cyber Squatch up, looking into his vacant eyes. Once proud creature who used to lead armies for the Spring Court has been brought low by mortal machinations. Yes, there is something you can do for me, as a matter of fact. In the next instant, he is back on his throne, sipping a mug of hot chocolate, and then scowling at the taste
From the skulls of his enemies.
Elves that didn't work hard or fast enough.
Yeah, he's just taking shots of hot chocolate from little elf skulls. Yeah.
I've turned the elf skulls into anal beads for my kinkier yeti.
Oh.
Seems a bit rough. Kinky, I guess, yeah.
Anyway, he settles back once again and says, I need you to do a favor for me in the mortal realm, and I will grant you what you want. It's going to be an easy one. His teeth grit, and you can see blood seeping from his gums and down his icicle beard.
Is it the war on Christmas? He wants us to wage war on Christmas?
I need you to damage my reputation, or rather, the other me's reputation.
I need the world to see Santa Claus slap Mariah Carey.
There is someone who used to travel and give out gifts in my name. A hero who styled himself after my alternate persona, boosting his presence and making belief flow into the other awful form. I need you to find this hero and discredit him.
Who is it?
He is from a land you called Britain, I believe, initially. And your data files begin to quickly scan. Minerva finally comes up with an image, and you see a muscular man with a white beard and a cape that is red and trimmed in white, and you see he's wearing red spandex and everything. He looks like a superhero version of Santa Claus.
Super Santa.
They called him Father Christmas.
So he wants us to go kill Santa Claus?
Discredit. Smear campaign.
Do you agree to this?
What's in it for us?
Message.
Well, you are intruders. I can spare your lives. He looks over at Princess Bubblegum. Some of you are already spared due to outstanding contracts, but the rest of you I can easily have butchered and laid upon my table, and I will smother you with delicious, delicious icing, and maybe some of those cherry cordials. Delicious.
Oh no, please don't do this thing you threatened me with. Terrifies me to be rubbed with cream. It sounded more kinky than cannibalism, if I'm being honest.
I mean, the butchering part that he led with kind of made me,
I didn't tune in until he said, I'm going to lay you upon my table and smother you with sweet cream sauces and cover your body with chocolate-covered cherries. It sounded like an orgy to me. I guess perception is different for different folks, but...
The creature across from you is clearly mad. You get the last thing Minerva brings up is Father Christmas, deceased, 1989.
Problem solved.
Or Jeff, use Minerva to come up with like a funny anti-Father Christmas meme, and then just tell him that it's all the rage on the internets where we're from.
Well, I was thinking something similar. But so yeah, he wants us to do a smear campaign.
He wants you to basically discredit the notion of the gift-giving Santa Claus that boosted his own reputation by accident.
So I will look at it like this. I will go. So you want me to change basically the Christmassy person as Father Christmas is basically persona that came out, and make it different than what it is currently so that you don't have to go through this.
Yes.
Done.
What?
I feel like,
Done.
isn't this the plot of Santa Claus versus the devil?
Close.
Anyway, a weird wizard walks in.
Where's the shirtless muscle man? That I see once a year.
But yeah, no.
Get the flower to disappear.
But yes, the Winter King seems to be suffering under a horrible madness, and he wants you to kill a dead man or discredit a dead man that he might still think is alive. It looks like he is in the throes of sort of a violent confusion after whatever happens to him in the holidays.
That's fine. We can make this work.
Okay. So what do you after you declare that you've already done it?
I've not declared we've already done it. I declared we can do it. We'll have to go back so we can implement this plan. And I would appreciate it if you could cause an appointed cyber squatch. Can you put his current predicament on hiatus where he pauses it until we get this back done?
He looks up at the creature's like, oh no, this creature's dead as dead meat. You'll have to wait till next year to fulfill the contract. He disappears again and is standing on the ceiling of this now cathedral-like place, which is sort of expanded with his confidence. His cape is dragging along the ceiling as if the gravity were up there, as he kind of quietly rants to himself. Yes, I can't let him go, but they want the creature alive. And what good it is me? It's just another stupid Sasquatch. They have plenty. They won't need another one. They can get a replacement. Yes, this one dies. I'll provide them with one of my Yetis. They'll like that one. And then suddenly he's back on the floor again. I can withhold the payment, and as much as it pains me, I can give you the prize first.
Okay.
On the condition that if you do not deliver, I will take this moment back.
Done.
Good. He sinks back into his massive throne. Now more diminished, smaller, maybe about 7 feet tall. The horns on his head have shrunk to, let's say, 3 or 4 points each. He seems to be relaxed. Which court would you like a journey to? The spring court is, of course, the easiest to get you to. The summer court is harder.
Well, no, this is not me talking to him. This is me talking to everybody else. What do we need to go to the spring court for?
To reinstate me. As my soul is reapproaching my body, I can make a case for myself there. Hopefully, I will have control. Things are beginning to happen.
Yeah, let's go to spring court.
The Winter King's realm, basically inside his throne room, it begins to snow and the sky darkens, quote unquote, darkens to the point where there's just nothing to see, no light, just cold and ice. And the next thing you know, the peaks of warmth touch your skin and your eyes open up and you see a bright, sparkling, beautiful, cool day. Behind you over your shoulder, you can see a blowing blizzard, but you are on the border between realms. And you step forward into the warmth of spring. 3 massive stags erupt from the forest. They do a quick run by, chasing after each other at play or at exercise. And as they disappear back into the forest, there is a figure watching you from the hillside, a cloaked Sasquatch, much like Cyber Squatch, but bigger, more healthy.
Better, cooler.
bigger, more healthy. He's
more handsome, more well endowed.
just bigger. He's just a bigger guy.
Jacked.
No, just bigger.
Better. What are you not getting, Fritz?
I'm agreeing.
Bigger is better.
You would say that. At any rate, he begins to move slowly toward you, his hands outstretched in a gesture of peace. His voice rumbles from under his hood. That thing is not welcome here.
Do I have any control?
That thing is not welcome here. You hear, as you've been walking aimlessly through the woods, and you come across a place that seems familiar to you. It's the old borderlands between the winter court and the summer court. You're home, but you are a spirit, and you can see your friends across the way being addressed by one of your kinsmen. You can hear what's going on. You can see what's going on, and you can see yourself, such as you are now, with Billy basically interwired to the left half of your body, about to be rejected. Yeah, you also can feel yourself still in there. You are looking at yourself in 2 different ways. Because the physical you can see the spiritual you, and the spiritual you sees the physical you seeing the spiritual you.
I do everything in my power to reunite the physical and the spiritual, screaming for Billy to let me go.
You guys hear Cyber Squatch's body scream, "Let me go! Separate!" And then you are shunted out violently again. But this time, you guys heard both the mental purpose and awareness coming from the voice of the physical body of Cyber Squatch. The Sasquatch that has met you there backs up a little in almost superstitious fear. What are you guys doing?
I will look at him and go, we came to cleanse this former native of this court.
You see the fellow turn away for a moment, and it looks like he's about to leave, and then turn back and say, "What we have done is wrong, and I don't care. I don't care that I will be punished for this. Follow me. And he moves you into the forest. The forest itself, thick, beautiful, smelling of fresh greens, budding leaves. You can see creatures coming out, doing everything, building nests, tending to newborn chicks and cubs. Everything here is perfectly at peace. Nothing hides in fear of mortals or immortals. And as he leads you through this forest, you come across a simple stone hut with a thatched roof. The Sasquatch stops at the edge of the grounds, takes a knee, and tells you to go forward and tells you good luck, and he awaits his punishment.
Do I recognize him?
You do. The name is difficult to come. Will come to you in time.
Right.
This Sasquatch has served with you. You can see as you pass by in your spiritual form, tears running down his face as you follow your companions toward the hut. Outside the hut is a beautiful young woman wearing simple farmer's clothes. But to each of you, she appears differently. She appears as a comely creature of your own species, or of your own, like, kind of physical preference.
I'm sorry, what now?
She
The
looks
young
like
woman
the
out-
prettiest version of whatever you find to be pretty.
Oh,
Yeah.
So she looks just like Minerva.
Yeah, basically, to you, sure. I'm not sure what Cosmic Knight sees when he sees someone attractive.
Kevin Bacon.
A very Kevin Bacon-esque young lady.
Good loose. Or is it
Tremors.
Tremors?
It's Tremors.
She just says, I got me a plan.
Bubblegum sees Janelle Monáe.
Oh, okay, yeah, that tracks. You see Billy go, how'd she get here? Cyber Squatch, you get a weird image in your head, and you see like a sort of rough and tumble girl in suspenders, or in overalls, wearing a crown, but like idealized. It looks like the Frog Princess.
Not my like chosen preference. That's
No,
that's like her true
you're getting Billy's.
Ah. Oh. Oh. Oh, that poor boy. He's gonna have a rough hoe ahead of him.
The
Rough row to hoe. Sorry.
rough hoe to row, yeah.
Yeah. That's not what I meant.
She stands and brushes.
Path.
The young lady stands and brushes off her apron and says, "Welcome, Crusaders of Justice." Yes. I am Titania. Welcome to my court.
I bow.
I see you brought back. Are you curtsying too?
No. It worked last time.
All right. She smiles as I see you brought back one of our lost souls.
Straight to the knees. Both knees. Kowtow.
She's not looking at the body of Cyber Squatch. She's looking over the body of Cyber Squatch at the soul of Cyber Squatch.
That's who's kowtowing.
Oh, okay. Says he was lost without it, lost to us. One of my finest champions. It pained me greatly to have his people shun him, but the corruption he brought with him could have upset the delicate balance of sensitive situations. The mortal realm is, unfortunately, even more dire than I originally left it. And now, my champion has been there to doing the work that should have been done by us millennia ago. It shames me to see this. It shames all of us to behave the way we did. Will you trust an old Fey Lord?
Is she speaking directly to me?
She's speaking to you and to all of them.
Oh. Bow and nod.
I offer you a boon, unattached to, let's say, standard obligations. Yeah, I know that you took a risk to get here, and indeed could have, possibly should have, even died at the hands of the insane Winter King. And now you are bound to him in certain ways, but I want to offer you the redemption that we could not before. My magic will only work to heal him, unfortunately.
I can remove all the tech from him. If you can provide the healing and all that, then we probably have something that can work here.
She nods and says, that would be fine. The tech, as you call it, is the problem. I can advance his healing to where it can reject that. But that itself," she points to the technological add-ons to Cyber Squad, "that is going to be the problem. It lives still. It has its own malevolent will. It is a thing of dark technomancy.
Let's destroy it.
Anathema to this realm. I'm afraid if I give him full life, it will take full life on its own, and I cannot have that war here. You must choose a place to do combat with this ultimate enemy of your friend's safety and well-being. It cannot be here.
Where do you wish for us to combat it at?
Wherever you find comfortable, wherever you think it would be best. I just know that once I begin the process, I will shunt you to wherever you choose to go."
Should we go to the Deathlands?
Oh, let's go back to the mansion. Well, actually, that's a good idea. The Deathlands might be safer for everybody in case it goes nuclear. Can she get there? Can she inhabit the lands of the dead?
She says, "No, like I said, I can start the process here and send you to where you need to go. That is all my magic is capable of.
We might
I
not
am
be
diminished for the next few months."
Is there like a desert somewhere where we won't be near anyone, but we won't be stuck in the realm of the dead?
You guys are from the United States. We're like half desert.
Yeah.
But do we want it somewhere where it can get loose?
We have to kill it. We're going to have to destroy it.
Yeah.
The moon.
I mean, I don't need to breathe.
Well, the moon is not uninhabited now. Don't forget that.
Huh.
Yeah, but they're moon people.
So just like, in the middle of a giant desert.
Yes, Sahara. You can cross the world with your portals, right, Jeff?
Yeah, my whole suggestion, though, is the whole thing I'm thinking, though, is I'm afraid the technology getting loose on our planet. If we go to another realm, then at least it's going to be in another realm. If some worst case scenario happens.
But can you create a portal out of the Deathlands without Mr. Hahn? He had to get us there. And then...
At that point, yes, because I was not...
He hadn't developed his powers yet.
Correct.
Okay.
I can get out now.
If you can get out, then sure.
Then, yeah. Cool.
Let's go find a giant baby made of robot parts.
And make sure Jeff doesn't die.
Also that.
All right.
We'll go talk to the sorcerer if he does.
Yeah, you can sell him off for parts. No,
Well, at least I already will be in the Deathlands if I die.
It's just we'll just do grave then. He'll just hover around and give us advantage.
Oh yeah.
You guys see her turn towards a space that's empty, and she says, "Are you prepared to use Cyber Squatch?"
Yes.
Such as Cyber Squatch.
Oh.
By my name, Queen Titania, Murderous Equinox is ready to serve you again. As your verdant vanguard.
It is good to have you back. And now, return to where you belong. You feel yourself sucked inside out. You feel yourself racked with pain as the dying body around you begins to push itself into a high-gauged healing mode. And she says, "Where did you choose to go?"
Deadlands.
"Begone, then. I banish you until your mission is complete. Come back cleansed or not at all. And the next thing you know, a dusty wind is the first thing you see on a extensive, cracked, empty expanse all around you. And in the distance, you hear the chugging of trains. But as far as anything you can see, there is nothing but gray skies, dusty wind, cracked earth, and you hear more cracking as Cyber Squatch's bones begin to regrow, reknit, rebuild the body he once had. They and you can see the cybernetic parts begin to crack and explode off and pile. But they also begin to writhe and move of their own volition as the Cyber Squatch of old is shucked in a bloody, gory display of rebirth, renewal, regeneration.
Sloughed off.
Cyber Squatch rises. His new body parts, pink and hairless, but that quickly begins to fill in. His arms begin to grow hair. His back begins to straighten, grow taller. He becomes of almost equivalent size to the Sasquatch that you met at the edge of the forest. The machinery itself seeming to have diminished his true powerful nature. And describe your regenerated form.
Well, I imagine everyone's very familiar with a Sasquatch. But I'm naked, I'm sure, except for my denim vest that's all, or my flannel vest that's all ripped to shit now.
Yeah, well, you also got like Hulk pants, the shredded somehow stayed on you, even just though you're.
I don't think that my clothing would have regenerated. So it's just the fur is in one light it looks brown auburn color, and in another light it looks somewhat greenish. You can imagine that walking through the woods, I would just blend in. I could be standing 15 feet away from you and you'd never notice until you started hearing me breathe heavy.
That's right. Eat that sandwich.
I love a sandwich.
But only at breakfast. But breakfast is technically any time you don't eat for 10 minutes and then eat again.
All right, that smacks of being butthurt.
He's got very bear-like claws on the ends of his fingers. You all know what a Sasquatch looks like. It's hard to describe something that everyone's so familiar with.
Yeah, I just didn't know if you had any other new flourishes to put out there.
Is he wearing a fun hat?
Yeah, he's got a new hat. It's a fez and a bow tie.
Yeah, but the fez, instead of having a tassel on it, actually has a propeller.
A fez beanie. At any rate. But yes, you stand renewed, and you see something else standing up beside you, behind you, looming now as it lets out a sort of a horrible metallic scream, a dark image of what you were, the Cyber Squatch in truth, finally in his full apotheosis of metal and hate, and it lunges toward its former host, and we will pick up there next week. Thanks everybody for joining us.
We're not done.
Do what? I was going to get to it.
Oh, I was about to say, don't you close out without giving me a title.
Thanks everyone for joining us. Let's do our regular thing that we mostly kind of forgot last week. I guess they just sort of joked about it, but I was too fucking, let's face it, blitzed to notice. Our covers. So here, this issue 21, let's entitle it Renewal. Does anybody have a cover for me?
I'm actually picturing a pinkish, hairless half of where all of his cybernetics are off. You see his back. It's Cyber Squatch, or Verdant Vanguard, as his new name will be.
All right.
Facing off against the fully robotic Cyber Squatch.
Okay.
That's what I'm picturing.
Any alternate covers?
It's the sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
It's the king of the Winter Court, and he's like front and center on like the cover, and you can see just from the back the outline of Cyber Squatch, a kneeling Defrag, and then a curtsying Bubblegum and Cosmic Knight
Okay.
doing the curtsy.
Gotcha.
Bubblegum doing that. What was that thing from Rescue Rangers? Monterey Jack. Whenever he saw cheese,
Cheese.
but Janelle Monáe as Titania, and
Okay.
she's like, "Yeah, she's losing her mind."
All right. Jeff, you got one?
Nope.
Okay. Well, thanks for joining us. Catch us next week. We're going to start off with a combat and a bang. Y'all have a good night.
Yeah. Okay, bye.
Peace.